What's up? What's up? What's going on, good people? We got TikTok here. We got YouTube here. What is going on, people? Hope my audio's working as you guys join in. Let me know how your long weekend was going. Let me know. Get me up to speed. And in the meantime, I'll update you guys with some announcements. We got some good things coming from now until about August. From now until about August. So stay on the lookout. I'll update you guys in a second. You guys can write these down or put them in your calendar. Just make a mental note of them because between now and, like I said, August, between now and, when the application cycle opens to when it starts grooving, there's a lot of good stuff coming your way. So as I go through these, you guys know what to do. Share this out. Comment your questions because the faster you get your questions in, the faster I can get to your answers. And that's what I'm really here for. That's what I'm really here for. As you guys know, if you're returning, I usually do this on Sunday, but it was a long weekend. So today, Monday, Memorial Day, it feels like Sunday. So I was like, let me hop on here. Feels like Sunday. I didn't hop on Sunday, so let me give them some love. TikTok and YouTube some love. So I'll probably be back on here Wednesday, this coming Wednesday as well. So drop your questions, YouTube and TikTok. But what we have coming up is this week, on Thursday, of course, we always have our Instagram slash Facebook Live slash live podcast recording. We call it our pre-PT chat. Our pre-PT chat live is every Thursday on Facebook and Instagram. So we got that coming up. Wednesday, I'll probably be back on here. This weekend, myself and Joseph will be at the Smart Success Healthcare Conference in Orlando, Florida. So you'll probably be seeing some live content from there, YouTube and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, or some pre-recorded content later on from that conference. But it's going to be a blast. Hopefully next year, as many of you guys can come as possible. There's going to be a live graduation. There's going to be speakers. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Conference doesn't do it justice, but it's going to be a good time. So look out for that. Then the next coming week will be the live masterclass. June 13th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. June 13th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Do I need to say it again? June 13th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time at leveluptheprept.com. Save your seat, sign up. If you cannot make it, you will be given a replay link shortly after the live stream ends. It'll be about an hour and a half. We have a special guest on this live stream, so you don't want to miss that either. So save your seat, June 13th, 12 p.m. Eastern Time at leveluptheprept.com. Make sure you're there. I'll type it into YouTube, TikTok. Make sure you're in that link as well. The link is in the bio as well, or you can just go to leveluptheprept.com. So we got that coming up on June 13th. Then June 21st, we have our essay lab, our pre-PT essay lab, the PTcast essay lab. So if you're, I saw a YouTube glitch. I hope I'm there, YouTube. But if you're freaking out about your essay, you don't know where to start, you don't know where to go, you want somebody to write it with you, you want revisions, all that stuff, then June 21st, that's a Monday, we'll be doing our live essay lab. We're going to be writing the essay with you. It'll be me on a live stream right here with you guys, helping you through the essay. It'll be a slideshow presentation. You'll be typing it in. I'll give you time to write it. I'll be like, here's the introduction, here's the points, boom, boom, boom. All right, your turn. 3 minutes, go. Right. Boom. All right, then we go on to the next point. Boom, boom, boom. This is what you need. This is what you need. Boom, boom, bam. All right, right. So it's going to be done in about a little over an hour. You should have a majority of your essay done. How great is that? How great is that to have your essay done in an hour-ish? Okay, so that's what's coming up on June 21st. Then in July, we have something new coming up. I'll just leave that a secret. It's with a new app. It's something new. It's something new. So in July, look out for that. Then August, we'll be having a debt-free summit to help you guys with the financial aspect of your application as well. So, yeah, it's a lot of stuff coming up. So be on the lookout. Leveluptheprept.com. There we go. So, masterclass June 13th, leveluptheprept.com. So, let's get into these questions. And let's see what's going on here. Alrighty. Start with TikTok, then I'll get to Jason's question here on on YouTube. So does being a PT tech help for PT school? We got Vargas 39. Good question. A PT tech for PT school will help if you make it help you. If you're just looking to put PT Tech on your resume or PT Tech on your application and you just leave it at that and say, oh, PT Tech, Casey said on TikTok and YouTube Live that it'll help me stand out. So boom, I just put it on there. Magic should happen, right? That's not how it works. You have to make your PT Tech or PTA job help you stand out. You have to talk about it. You have to explain it in a way that'll help you stand out. How long have you been there? Any leadership positions? What did you do? How many people did you help? Were you promoted? Did you do any projects? Did you lead any projects there? Were you at a new clinic, an old clinic? How many patients did you see a day? Like, you need to talk about it from a perspective that'll make you stand out. If you just slap on PT Tech there and think it's going to do magic, oh my gosh, Vargas 39 is a PT Tech. Oh my gosh, like, let's accept him or her. No, it's not going to work like that. But if you help you stand out, then it will. So, yeah. Let's see, Jason. Happy Memorial Day. If we are reapplying, is it appropriate to use the same essays if it works? Or the question is the same. So in theory, you can use the same essay. However, you've probably grown in the past year, right? So if you're a better applicant, if you have grown, if you have changed, can you describe that? Can you talk about that in your essay? Hopefully, yes. And I would encourage you to. If you keep it verbatim and exactly the same, that's really telling me, that's telling you, that's telling the admissions committee that you have made no changes in your application. You have not worked on your writing skills. You haven't worked on your essay. You haven't worked on your communication. No differences has happened in the past year. Nothing has changed. That's what it says. You can technically keep it the same, but what does it say? What does it show the other people? Now, do you have to rewrite the whole essay? No, probably not. But can you include anything new in the essay that reflects what has changed over the past year? Or how your writing skills have gotten better? Or how you can tell your story differently or better? Was your essay really that great last year? If it was, hey, go for it. If you really want to keep it the same, I can't stop you. I can't tell you necessarily what to do. But in my perspective, I think it's better if you reflect how you've grown and how you've changed over the past year by changing things on your essay accordingly. So hopefully that makes sense. You don't have to tear it up and rip it out and write a whole new thing, but you should make the necessary changes, in my opinion, to improve your essay. Just like you've improved probably your GPA, probably your experiences, probably the way you think about the application, the people you ask for help, whatever else happened in the past year in your life, you've improved there. So improve your essay as well. Let's see here. Cheers, boss. Makes total sense. Absolutely. You got it, Jason. And if you guys don't know, we have a YouTube. Check out our YouTube. Give us a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right. We got Kashi. I believe it's Kashi Brit. Advice to get into grad school. That's what our whole platform is for. So if you're still on Kashi Brit, give me a little bit more insight as to what kind of advice you're looking for. Is it advice about the essay, like I just asked? Is it about your GPA? Is it about what schools to apply to? Is it about the money part? Is it about how to talk to schools? Is it about researching schools? Is it about you being a freshman in undergrad and that's when you're looking into physical therapy? Or are you applying like in a couple weeks on June 15th when it opens? That's going to give me a lot more insight as to how I can help you. But advice to get into grad school, all of this will be advice. So definitely tune in. But if you're still on, give me some more direction as to how I can help you. And that'll give me a better answer to give you as well. Let's see. I'm applying this upcoming cycle. How much emphasis, almost lost it. How much emphasis do they put on observation hours? Riff Raff 33. How much emphasis do they put on observation hours? So every school is a little different, but for the most part, they don't put as much emphasis on observation hours as you think. So observation hours are really for you, and the schools, they're not going to look at your observation hours and say, oh my gosh, you got 3,000 observation hours. Shoot, we need to accept him or her. It doesn't work like that. There have been studies that show that there's no correlation between the type of physical therapy student you'll be versus how many hours you get. So if you have 3,000 hours, they did studies on you guys or people before you guys saying if they have 3,000 hours, that doesn't automatically mean they'll be a great PT student. So why do we need to put so much emphasis on observation hours? Now, hopefully to give you a better grasp on this answer as well, when it comes to the number of hours, that depends on the school as well. Some schools are like, hey, just get 10 hours. We don't care where you get these 10 hours from, just get them, and we'll move on to looking at the rest of your application. Other schools are like, we want 20 hours from the hospital, and we want 60 hours from an outpatient facility. Okay, you get that. Just get what they need, get like an hour or 5 or 10, whatever you're comfortable with, over whatever they need, then call it a day. Then call it a day. If you happen to have 3,000 hours, great. If you happen to have 300, great. I had just over the limit. I think I needed like 80 hours or something for the schools I applied to. I got that and I was done and I got accepted. So you don't need to stress over the hours. Schools don't put an emphasis on it. You can look up the studies, go to the Journal on Physical Therapy Education and type in observation hours. Studies that I found, they're like, we find no correlation between the hours and whether they're a good applicant or not. So the hours are for you guys. They're to make sure that you know what you're getting into. They're not for the school. They're for you. So that's my take on it. Let's see. Michael, what's going on? Hi, Casey. Does it look bad if we don't have any leadership in our volunteer experience? What are some things we can talk about if there are no leadership, if you don't have any leadership in that experience? Good question. So with experiences, observation hours, internships, if you don't have any leadership specifically with the leadership category, you can talk about who you learned under. So, Michael, if you weren't in any leadership in your PT Tech job or in any research studies or in any volunteer things you've been a part of, who were you under? Who was the leader? Who was the director? Who was the manager? And what did they teach you? What did you learn from them? How did you help them? Then from there, how long were you there and what results did you help the whole team get in that experience? So if you don't have any leadership in any experiences, what I would do is talk about the leader who you worked under, and that can help you stand out as well. So let's just take an extreme example, right? Let's just say I was working with an NBA team or something like that, or I was on a basketball team, and I said, oh shoot, I played with LeBron James, I played with Kyrie Irving, I played with James Harden, and I played with Steph Curry on the Olympic basketball team. I wasn't a leader on that team, but who were the leaders and who was I under? What did I learn from those leaders? What can I take from that experience, from what they showed me and what they taught me and from what I saw to make myself a better NBA player or pre-PT applicant and take that to wherever I go next? So that's what I would do. Great question, though. Very good question. Let's see here on TikTok. Let's go back here. What happens if you do bad in PT school? Good question. It depends how bad you do, but worst case scenario is you get kicked out. So if you get under whatever their requirements are to stay in the program, they kick you out. You lose your deposit, all the money you paid, it's gone, and you have to reapply and get back into PT school if that's what you want to do. But worst case scenario is you get kicked out. Less worst case scenario is that they give you a warning and you go on about doing whatever remediations or doing whatever things they want you to do on probation, on that probationary period, to get back in the swing of things. So that's less worst case scenario. Good question, though. It is real. That's why they look at your GPA. That's why they want people who show they can handle the prerequisites, because once you get in there, they have certain standards as well. So that's a hidden gem right there. Very underrated question. Do schools care how long you've been at a clinic or hospital for volunteer observation hours? In my experience, no. In my experience, no, but you can use it to your advantage. So why I say no to that is because if you're on the lower end of the spectrum and you have like 20 hours and that's it, and you're concerned about somebody who has 3,000, 10,000, 500 hours, you don't have to worry. That's why I'm saying no, it doesn't matter, because you can still get in with 20 hours or 50, whatever they need, no problem. Okay, that's the first thing. But if you're on the other end of the spectrum and you're like, shoot, I have 3,000 hours, I have 10,000 hours because I worked there, or because I did this, and over time it just accumulated, that's fine. That's great. That can help you stand out if you have something to talk about from those 3,000 hours. That's how it'll help you stand out. If you don't have anything to talk about from those 3,000 hours, then you're just going to say, oh, it's there because I worked there. And they're going to be like, okay, cool. That's nice. So have all the other applicants. They all have 3,000 hours, 500 hours, 200 hours as well. So what's so good about your 3,000 hours compared to some other PT techs 2,000 hours or 5,000 hours? So that's where, and that's where my thinking goes when it comes to this question. So yeah. How important is chemistry for PT? Chemistry is not important for PT, but it is a weed out class. So the person who just asked the question about not how hard is PT school, they asked the question of what happens if you do bad, right? Let me scroll up. What happens if you do bad in PT school, right? So chemistry, for example, is they want to know that you can handle chemistry and physics and all that stuff together so that you can handle physical therapy school. It's not about chemistry. It's not about stoichiometry. It's not about the atoms and the electrons spinning around. It's not about that. It's about, can you handle chemistry and can you handle physics and med terms together? Because in PT school, if you can't, you will fail out. And they don't want you to fail out. And they don't want to lose money either because they're a business. So that's what chemistry is about. And other prereqs too. All right. Let's hop on over to YouTube real quick. Then I'll come back to I'll come back to this question for TikTok. Gabby is asking, how do I decide what to talk about in my essay? I had a non-PT related leadership position during college, which includes clubs and research, and I'm currently a PT aide. I feel like the essay would be too long if I talked about everything. Great question. Tune in on June 21st. Make sure you sign up for the essay lab when we have those sign-ups up and available. You won't be able to miss it. We'll be blasting it everywhere. So just when you see that, make sure you sign up for it. I'll walk you through the exact steps. So quick answer to this is you don't have to talk about everything. You can, but you don't have to talk about everything. What I would do is talk about the thing that flipped the switch for you. What was the thing that flipped the switch for you to say, I want to be a physical therapist? Was it the non-PT leadership positions, like your clubs and your research? Was it when you were a PT aide? What made you be a PT aide? I would focus on or talk about as closely as possible what was the light switch moment or kind of the slow burn moment. What made you do all of this stuff to be on this live stream today asking this question? What was that? Then see if you can talk about that. Whether it was an injury or a family member or one of those non-PT related leadership positions or what you researched and found over the years. That's what I would talk about. So that's your short answer. But on the essay lab, on the essay workshop, June 21st, we'll hash that out some more. Then another question from YouTube. What benefits do you see from being a PTA and then transferring into a PT? So the benefits of being a PTA, then transferring to a PT is, in my opinion, financial and lifestyle choices. Because if you want to be a PTA, and it sounds like I'm trying to read between the lines with this question. It sounds like you're thinking about becoming a PTA first, then switching to become a PT. I could be wrong. Just let me know. But if that's the direction of this question, what I would advise is you take a hard look at what you want to do and make sure you make that right decision. Because if you do ultimately want to be a PT, just go for the PT. Go for the DPT. Because if you're just doing PTA to say, oh, it'll help me look better, they're going to automatically accept me into DPT school if I'm a PTA. It doesn't automatically work like that. Can it help you just like everything else can help you? Yes. But it doesn't automatically shoo you in the door, kick you in the door if you're a PTA. Now, if you want to be a PTA because you have a family and you have to provide for them real quick, or your spouse is overseas, or they're working, and you want to make up some extra money, or you're not sure about being a DPT yet, but you want to get into the field and keep your debt to income ratio low, and you're not too attached to that doctorate title, then be a PTA. Those are great reasons to be a PTA. But if you're just solely being a PTA because you want to be a DPT in the future and you think that's going to fast track you, it's not necessarily going to fast track you, and you might just be wasting more time than necessary. You could just be taking the necessary prereqs and having a different job, then becoming a DPT and going to PT school and becoming a DPT. So there's a lot of factors in there, but I try to read between the lines of that question and give you the best answer possible. So that's my perspective. That's my answer on that question. Let's see. Oh, this is Cassie is asking in relation to her previous or his or her previous question. She's an uprising senior, confused on where to start. Okay, so I would go to the link in our bio and go to the Start to PT School guide. So there's a link in our bio. If you're on TikTok, go there and download the Start to PT School guide. That will give you a detailed foundation on where to start, what to do, and what this is all about. Because that's what it sounds like you need based on how you were asking it, based on you saying you don't know where to start. So that's what I would say. Start to PT School guide. Link is in the bio, and that's where you can start. Because there's a lot of stuff we can talk about, especially with where it sounds like you're at. But that's what I would do. Start to comb through that, then send us a DM. Make sure your privacy settings are open so I can respond to you. And if you have any questions from there, from that detailed response, from that detailed PDF, then reach out and ask. Then the next thing I want you to do is go to acceptancenavigator.com, and that can help recalibrate your application lens and your application focus to say, okay, this is where I'm at, this is what I need to focus on. I haven't thought of that before. This is how PT schools think, so on and so forth. So those two things is where I want to direct you. Acceptancenavigator.com, then the Start to PT School guide, link is in the bio. Let's see. When does the upcoming cycle open on PTCast? I can't find any open applications right now. So the next cycle opens on June 15th, which is in 14 days, right? Or 15 days. Technically 16 right now because it's the 31st. Basically about 2 weeks. It opens on June 15th, and that's where you can go in your application and start working on it. July 1st is when the application cycle opens so you can submit your applications. June 15th is when you can start working on it. July 1st is when you can start submitting applications. So that's where you might be confused and where the hiccups might be. Yep, PTCast opens on June 15th. July 1st. There you go. Perfect. What if I don't have any recommendation letters? Then you need to get some. And what I recommend you doing is going on our YouTube channel and TikTok and Instagram and searching up letter of recommendation, and you'll see all the videos and tips that I give there. But you need to get letters of recommendation generally from 2 PTs and 1 professor. It does vary slightly depending on the school you're applying to, of what kind of letter of recommendations they want, or I should say from who they want them from. But generally you want them from 2 PTs and at least 1 professor. It doesn't have to be a professor in a science course unless they specify it. So it can be a professor from sociology, religion, English, medical terminology, anything like that, unless they specify otherwise. So that's where you need to get them from. I just posted a video on TikTok a couple days ago, probably yesterday or today, actually. One of these days. It's not too far off, where I posted a TikTok and Instagram video on how to ask for a letter of recommendation. And it might be on YouTube. I think I posted it on YouTube today as well. So definitely check that out. Colin is asking on YouTube, I begin shadowing a local PT next week for the first time in person. Any tips? So with shadowing, it's really for you. It's really for you. So go in there with an open mind and go into that observation hour experience saying, I want to learn something. I'm not spending my time here just to waste time away, because I would be wasting my time that I could be using on my essay, or I could be using working out or making money or something. This time is valuable to me. So I would go in there with that mindset, and with that mindset, then you'll be in there with some urgency, saying, what can I learn? How can I get the most out of this opportunity? And then everything else would follow from there. Because if you go in there just saying, Oh, I'm here for hours like I was. Oh, I'm here just, how many hours? Two more left? Oh my gosh, I'm just looking at the clock. I'm so bored. Then it'll be a drag and everything else will show. And it'll show that you don't want to be there. But if you go in there saying, I need to get the most out of this because I can be doing something else with my time. How can I do this? How does this work? Then you go in there with a different mindset, asking different questions, and everything else follows. And if you go in there like that, then you don't have to remember, oh shoot, what was the tip that Casey said on YouTube and TikTok on May 31st? Dang, I forgot. You don't got to remember none of that. If you go in there with that urgency, saying, I need to get something out of this. This is my career. I need to learn about this. I need to know what you guys do so I don't waste my time picking the wrong career. That would be my big advice for you in the next week or two. Let's see. Thanks for answering the question. Good stuff. Thank you. Good, good. Does PT school help you get a job after finishing? Is transferring from one PT school to another possible? Transferring, I'll do that one first. Transferring from one PT school to another, I've seen it possible, but it's very rare. I don't know the specifics of that, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. I've seen it done. It's on very rare occasions. I think I've heard of it done twice, but it's not very common. It's not very common. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen because one PT school might be on, yes, you are learning the same things, but it might be in different orders, and it's just a lot. So it's very rare. I'm sure it can happen. I've seen it happen, but it's very rare. Then your next question is, does PT school help you get a job after finishing? Not necessarily. Our PT school gave us a couple like emails about job openings, but it's really up to you. They don't place you in a job. Once you have your license, once you graduated, you as the autonomous doctor, licensed professional, can go out and choose whatever job you want. So they don't place you in a job like med schools or some dental schools and things like that place you in residencies and match you. You're on your own. Once you graduate, you can get a job wherever you want, and that's the great thing about it. So it's not like they leave you out to dry, but it's up to you to find your job, and that's a good thing in my opinion. Hi, I'm Cuban and I'm a PT in my country. What can I do to be a PT in the EEUU? I'm guessing you mean in Europe. EEUU. I'm not too familiar with that. If you're asking about what you can do to be a PT in the States, I would go to fccpt.com or .org. I believe it's FCC if you're still on. If you're still on fccpt.com or .org. And that is like the foreign PT kind of website to give you a lot more detailed information on how that works. You have to transfer over your transcripts from the school you went to and different things like that, so they can match it up with what we learned here in the States. So they know whether you would be the equivalent to a PTA in the States, or if you just have to take the board exam to be a licensed DPT, Doctor of Physical Therapy in the States. So there's a lot of paperwork on your end and their end, but that's what I would do. fccpt.org if you're still on. Yeah, if you already graduated from college, same person. Oh no, it's a different person. Let's see. What if I already graduated from college? Then I'll get to these YouTube questions. What if I already graduated from college and it happens? Oh, need a letter from a professor. Then you still need a letter. There's no way around it. They're not going to be like, oh, you graduated from college. Oh, you don't need a professor letter of recommendation. If they want a letter of recommendation from a professor, then that's what they want. Because other people have graduated from college already and can still get that letter, and you're going up against them. So they're going to be like, how come they could get one, but you couldn't, even though they graduated a while ago as well, but you did as well, but you couldn't get one. So that's what they're going to be asking or thinking. That's what's going on through their mind. So if they have a requirement from a professor for a letter of recommendation, you still need one, even if you graduated from college. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, so the US. Thanks guys. I appreciate it. I kind of figured that. That's why I went with the US explanation. But okay, cool. So YouTube is helping you out. I believe it's pronounced Lieni92. YouTube is helping you out. So they were backing you up with the EEU, Estados Unidos. All right, let's see. Another one from YouTube here. I'm passionate about becoming a PT, but I feel like I lack the confidence. Do you have any tips on how to gain confidence in my skills as a future DPT? Let's see. Benefits. You asked about the PT. So you are not a PTA or PT yet, right? I believe so. I believe that's right in my assumption. But if you're lacking confidence right now, that's fine. Since you're not a DPT, you might be a PT tech or PT aide. You might have been in the clinic before. You don't necessarily need confidence in the clinic yet, but what will give you confidence is the more you learn about physical therapy. So TikTok, the YouTube question is basically saying they're lacking some confidence. They want to do PT, they're passionate about it, but they feel that they lack confidence in, I guess, pursuing this career kind of. Any tips on how to gain confidence in the skills? And I'm assuming they're not in, they're not clinically in the field yet. So what I would say to anybody feeling like this is the more you learn about the profession you're getting into, the more confident you'll be. So how much do you know about the profession is my question. If you know about the current events and what a PT goes through and the day, like what a PT goes through in their day and what their challenges are and what their struggles are, what they're happy about, what they complain about, what's coming down the pipeline in a couple years, then you have the confidence to go into a clinic or go into an interview and talk to a physical therapist at their level. And that will give you confidence as well. So that's what I would say to that question. Learn as much about the profession as possible, and that'll give you confidence outside of the clinic. Then, how did you decide on what clinicals you wanted to be a part of? So in physical therapy school, they give you some choices, at least in mine. They gave us some choices, but they also had kind of a structure to it as well. So we had to do a neuro rotation, we had to do an outpatient orthopedic, and we had to do a hospital. Then we had a free for all as well. So as long as we hit those markers, then we can go wherever we want. So if we wanted to go to California for an outpatient orthopedic one, but we want to go to Chicago for a hospital one, and so on and so forth, that's where we can decide on where to go and who to work with and where to go for the clinicals, as long as it was in that realm, if that makes sense. So sometimes they gave us a list of where we can go and we can choose for that. And if we had above a certain GPA, like I did, you had 2 special request options where you can go anywhere in the US or outside of the US at my institution to do your clinicals, as long as it fit within those categories of settings that they wanted. Good questions, though. Why does everyone recommend applying early? So a lot of people recommend applying early because something called rolling admissions. So if the schools you're interested in do rolling admissions, then what that means is that as the applications roll in, they start looking at applications. So if you get your application in early, and that early could be depending on when the deadline is. So if your deadline is in December 15th, early for you could be September 31st. But if your deadline is September 15th, September 31st is late. So that's one of the reasons people recommend applying early. Then for other people, they just feel more confident and they feel more at ease. Their anxiety is lowered if they apply early. Then also the applications sometimes take a little bit to process. Hasn't been like that in recent years. Applications have been processed pretty quickly within like a business week. So that's not too common anymore, but everybody thinks that, it's just like anything else. Oh, get your application in as soon as possible. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, especially if you still have some classes to complete, like your summer semester is finishing up and you have like the GRE finishing, or you just need more time to complete your application. I'd rather you wait a few more weeks and have a great completed pristine application than trying to rush it in on July 2nd because you have a frantic energy that, oh my gosh, everybody else is getting their application in, let me get it in because I feel like I'm going to get a cookie and I'm going to get a trophy because boom, I got it in first. I got it in first. Nobody cares. No, you're not going to get a cookie for putting your application in first. So I wouldn't stress about getting it in too early, but still have some urgency as well. I'll go with this one. Oh, perfect. How do I stand out? So this question is asking, how do I stand out when applying with the low GPA? So what I recommend is going to the YouTube channel and going to the playlist, how to stand out in 3 minutes or less. So that's where I would start. So that would be your homework. After this live stream is done, go to our YouTube channel and go to the playlist, how to stand out in 3 minutes or less. And I have like 9 videos there giving you an answer to that question. A 9-part video series answer to that question. But other ways to do that is really focusing on what the school you're applying to wants. Do you even know what they want or what they're interested in or what their Instagram is or what they post or what their alumni is doing or what research they've been into or what their GPA standards are? You might say you have a low GPA. For one school, you might. But for another school and how they calculate GPAs, you might not have a low GPA. Have you ever thought about that or learned about it? Do you know the different GPAs? How many letters of recommendation do they want? How long have they been established? So the list goes on and on and on. So I do as much research as to what the schools you're applying to want. And if you don't match up with them or cannot match up with them with the cards you've been dealt, then maybe put that school on the sideline and look for other schools where you can attain their requirements. So that's what I would say. But the basis of it starts with what do they want and can you meet their requirements? Let's see. Is it okay to ask for recommendations now if I'm applying July 2022, or is it too early? So you can still ask for letters of recommendations now. The only difference is they will not submit the letters now, of course. Since you're applying July 2022, I should say, you can ask them for it now. They type it up, boom, 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 blah, 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 boom, and they save it on their laptop if they feel comfortable sending it to you so you both have a safe copy of it. Perfect. Then July 22 comes around, 2022, and you email them, hey, hope you're doing well. Remember that letter of recommendation you wrote last year? So glad you got it done. Hope you're doing well. I'm going to send you an email in a few days from PTCast. All you have to do is answer a few questions on there and upload the letter that you did last year, and boom, you're done. It'll take you about 5 minutes, and you'll be on with your day. So a year from now, they don't have to write a new letter and try to remember how you were. The letter's already done. Great question. Yes, they can write it now. They just won't submit it right now. Thank you for answering it. Appreciate it. Good stuff. If I missed your question, I'm sorry. I'm trying to scroll through. Just ask it again if I missed it. Definitely ask it again. I want to get to all the questions. So if I missed it, I'm sorry. On TikTok, just ask again and I'll get to it. How important is it to have a general Chem 1 and 2 to apply to a school? I took Oh, okay. So YouTube, this question is asking, schools want general chemistry 1 and 2 mostly. But this student took general chemistry 1 and organic chemistry 1. Is that okay? Is it not? How are schools going to look at it? So, this is the second part of your question. Oh, it's the same one. Okay, cool. So with that, what you need to do is go to the programs you're interested in, go to their PTCast profile or their website, and go under the chemistry section and look for what the replaceable classes are. So on chemistry, go to chemistry 1 or go to the chemistry section on their PTCast profile and see what classes are replaceable for that. Or you can just email the admissions coordinator and say, this is my specific situation. Will these classes suffice for general chemistry 1 and 2 requirements? Gen Chem 1 and Orgo 1. They might say yes, they might say no. You might have your answer on the PTCast profile. So that's what I would do to see if that holds up for that school. If it doesn't, then you'll have to take general chemistry 2. Unless you want to take Orgo 2 and the school allows it. So that would be your next step. How do you study for the GRE? That's a loaded question, but we recommend starting with a error-based preparation model. Error-based preparation model. So what that means is you take a practice exam, or if you already have taken one, then you go in there and say, shoot, where did I mess up? Where are my worst categories? Okay, my worst scores are in verbal. What part of verbal? Reading comprehension, fill in the blanks, Just the memorization section, matching what part of verbal is the worst, and you focus diligently on that, so your score can increase. Because if you just go blanketly over everything again to try and re up your score, then you might be wasting time on what you're already good at. Where you can just hyper focus on the lowest scores, and boom, you get the biggest score jump and increase. Let's see. PTCast soft opening is June 15th. Let's see. I'm here. Good stuff. Thank you. Get some AirPods. I have some AirPods. Am I coming through okay? I hope I'm coming through okay. If I need to switch to AirPods, let me know. Question from YouTube. Is skilled nursing facility accepted as inpatient? Yes. 99% of the time, skilled nursing facility is accepted as inpatient. I think I'm coming through okay. TikTok, let me know. I'm just using the cord AirPods because the mic is on there. I think I'm coming through good. Part 1. Okay, let's get to this. Live in North Carolina, and I was wondering if you have any knowledge on if grad schools are going to be requiring the GRE after the 2022 cycle. Good questions. I'm not sure specifically on if all grad schools will be eliminating the GRE after 2022. If you have some knowledge on that, I'd be happy to know. Send me a DM. But I know some schools have already done away with the GRE from before last year. So some schools are like, we don't care about it. The research doesn't back it up. We don't like it. They have their own opinions on it. Some schools still hold on to it. So I'm not sure if all schools would do away with the GRE after the 2022 cycle. I can't say that for sure, but some schools have already done away with it. So if you really don't want to take the GRE, you just find schools that don't need the GRE. They might not all be in North Carolina, so if you want to stay in North Carolina, then you have to abide by whatever the schools want and what their requirements are there. So, yeah. PTs, make sure to get your dry needling and spinal manip certs when you graduate. All right, good stuff. Y'all keep that in mind. It's the future. Keep that in mind, y'all. Thanks for the tip. I love what you're doing. Good stuff. YouTube, I think we're good. Hey, we got 9 people on YouTube. That's what I'm talking about. Hop on over to YouTube. Give us a like. If you didn't know we had a YouTube channel, I'm live streaming on YouTube right now. So go over there and subscribe when you get a chance. Where did you go to grad school? I went to Andrews University. The little expensive certificate is over there. YouTube, you guys can see it in the background, the whole live stream. But Andrews University is in Michigan, Southwest Michigan. That's where I went. You're doing PT? No way. Yep, I'm a physical therapist. Been one since 2018. GRE scores mean nothing. I mean, I'm going to stay agnostic on that. I've heard different sides of the coin. Do you have to have various shadowing settings? Depends on the school you're applying to. What was the website called for the GRE practice? I'd go to ets.org. I believe it's .org. ets.org. Go there first because that's where the GRE is given from, and they have a lot of free resources, so I'd go there first. Then you can do a Google search and all that stuff for different books and prep materials and all that stuff. If I miss your question, ask it again. Hope I didn't miss anything. Various shadowing settings. Yeah, it depends on the school and what they want. Mostly inpatient, meaning hospital, and outpatient, meaning your normal, clinic. PT coming at you 2024. I like it. Does tuition for grad school increase if you go out of state? For the most part, yes. If it's a public university or private, if you go out of state, yes, the tuition is higher. It's just like undergrad in college or any other program. If you go out of state, it's usually higher. Good there. Where at? I think I'm caught up. Same at might. Where at? Where? Well, PT school. Is UAB in Alabama a good PT school? I want to apply to a top school when the time comes. So if you're still on Maddie, the good thing about physical therapy and physical therapy schools, what's the name of the YouTube channel? Just type in pre-PT grind. If you're talking about our YouTube channel, pre-PT grind is the YouTube channel. But if you're talking about PT schools, the good news is that it's not like med school or law school. When you get out and you start working, they really don't care where you went to school. Jobs don't really care. Patients don't really care. As long as you have your license and your degree, it doesn't matter. So in my opinion, the best physical therapy schools are the cheapest ones. You don't need to go to a top ranked school. You don't need to go to the 13th ranked school. If you can go to a physical therapy school that has the lowest cost with where you're at and where you can get into and where you apply and all that stuff, in my opinion, the lowest cost physical therapy school is the best physical therapy school. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You guys can fight about it. Other people can have their own opinions. I'm just saying, I'm trying to be honest with y'all. I'm trying to give y'all the nitty gritty of it all. I'm trying to be 100% truthful. It's not going to matter. If you can keep your debt as low as possible, you're going to have a much healthier outlook on the physical therapy career when you get out of school because your debt is low. If you're like, man, I want to go to this top ranked school, but it costs 200 grand just for physical therapy school, or it costs 180 or 160 or 140, once you get out, you're going to be like, dang, why do I have all this debt when I could have just went to a school that was 30 or 60 grand? What was the point? They all taught me the same thing and they all had to give me the same information to pass the board exam. So why did I spend double when I kind of could have got half off? So, that's just me trying to look out for y'all. If y'all want to go to the most expensive ones, you can, but it's up to you. It's your career. It's your career. So that's just my take. Good question though. Very good question to ask before you get into it. Let's see. What's the name of the... Oh, I got that. How much do you think a top school matters? Already got that one. Doesn't matter at all. NIU. Yeah, NIU is pretty low cost. I think SUNY's low cost. Doesn't matter at all. How would you rank CRNA as a career? From what I know, it's a pretty good career. I don't know too much about it, so I can't speak on it too much. But from what I hear and what I see, it's a good career. I don't know how it ranks on the return on investment spectrum, but I'm sure it's great. My PT school is expensive. Yep, there you go. As someone who goes to a highly ranked school, at 100% agree. Good stuff. There you go. Same. If you were in the application, oh dang, I missed it. If you were in the application process again, what's one thing that you would focus on aside from prereqs? Good question. So what I would focus on, I kind of alluded to this before, but I would focus on the opponent. I would focus on the other side. Just like any other sports or just like any other thing in life, a relationship, right? If you had to date over again, if you're married, if you have a husband or wife or a significant other, if you had to start over again, what would you do? Same kind of question. I would focus more on the other side. And I would focus intently on reading between the lines as to what they like and don't like. So I would research the hell out of them. I would go to their Instagram. I'd follow them on Facebook, Twitter, podcasts, LinkedIn, everywhere I could. If I can go there in person, whatever, I dig into them, into their process and into their lives and into their program as much as possible to see what they're about. So that I know when I'm going in there for an interview or a phone call or an application, I know exactly how to type my essay based on what I saw. I know exactly how to type my supplemental essays. I know exactly what to email them about to create a conversation and build a relationship. I know exactly what to ask in the info session to make me stand out. Because from what I saw on your Instagram, you like community service, because I saw that 6 months ago, you guys did a local community service project because you couldn't go overseas like you usually do, from what I saw 2 years ago when you went to Ecuador. But since you couldn't do that because of, the stuff going on this past year, you did a local one. And what I saw there was absolutely amazing. You guys actually inspired me to do my own local one at my church or at, my organization. And what we did, we passed out toothpaste, and we had a result of passing out 3,000 tubes of toothpaste to all the homeless people in the area. And you guys inspired me to do that. And I saw that 3 people from your alumni also came back to help. So I see that you guys love community service, and you guys also have a pro bono clinic. That's what I would do. Outside of the grades, outside the prereqs, I would see what they like. Same thing if they love research. Same thing if they're at a D1 facility and they have a D1 football team and basketball team, and their PT organization, their PT school is deeply entrenched with the athletics program. I do the same thing there. What are they showing you? Are you reading between the lines? Do you care about them or not? So that's what I would say. Good question though. Let's get to YouTube real quick. Got my doctorate at Missouri State. It was cheap, and I got an amazing education. Saved quite a bit of money. There you go. Amen. Lowest cost is the best. Exactly. Some schools will prefer you have a business degree as an undergrad. There you go. Exactly. Look into what the schools want. Exactly. Colin's asking, which PT setting is your favorite? I like neuro. I'm currently in an orthopedic outpatient setting. I get some neuro patients here and there, but it's a very small percentage, mostly orthopedic injuries or post-surgicals. That's my favorite right now, but I also like neuro. If I was to do anything else, it would be like in a skilled or subacute rehab facility or outpatient facility with neuro. But I like those two. Neuro is more, I guess you can say, intellectually challenging. Maybe it's a lot you learn in neuro. It's just cool. Or outpatient orthopedic is more mainstream, I guess you would say, and the results are a lot more evident and quicker, depending on the injury, of course, than neuro. So those are things to keep in mind too. How long do you think you need to study for the GRE? Depends on how good of a standardized test taker you are. Some people can handle it in a month. Some people need 3 months. Some people need 4. I think 2 to 3 is a good amount of time, but don't take my word for it and say, oh shoot, Casey on this live stream said 2 to 3 months, so that's all I need. If you need more, I got a message earlier today saying, man, the GRE is harder than I thought. I need more time, blah, blah, blah. So if you need more time, you might need more time. If you don't, then you don't. But 2 to 3 months on average should be okay. All right, TikTok. Let's see where I left off. When should I apply if I wanted to start DPT program? Fall of 2022. You would apply now. You would apply June 15th when the application cycle opens. If you want to start fall of 22, you would apply now. Washington University. Oh, there. Oh, okay. Love my program, but it's so expensive. There you go. If you're in PT school, Ashley, if you're still on, look out for the debt-free summit we're going to do in August. I think it's August 13th or 15th, whatever that weekend is. I think it's August 15th. But look out for that if you're interested in the debt-free money stuff as well. Any recommendations for making money during PT school? Yeah, whatever's flexible and whatever you're interested in doing. I worked in PT school. I was a golf caddy. Before PT school, I was a teacher's assistant. In PT school, I was a social media director, publications director, a drummer. I said Uber already. We started pre-PT grind while we were in PT school. But all of those were flexible around PT school. I can pick it up and drop it off at a moment's notice if I needed to study for a test or whatever. All of that revolved around PT school. So if you do want to work, you can. It just has to be very flexible, and your priority has to be PT school. Then the money job stuff revolves around it. That's how it can work. Bro, how can I pass gross anatomy? SUNY is low cost unless you're out of state. How you can pass gross anatomy. Some study strategies I suggest is active recall, spaced repetition, the Feynman technique, and the Pomodoro technique. Any others? I'd say those 3. If you guys know others and want to help them out, drop them below. But active recall, spaced repetition, Pomodoro technique, and the Feynman technique. I'd use those for anatomy. Most State is my undergrad. Love it. Good stuff. Best GRE studying tips. Answered this earlier, but error-based preparation. Focus on the lowest scores that you have and the most detailed section as possible. So don't just say, oh, I got a low score in quants. What part of quants? Focus on that and put your effort there so your scores can improve. The GRE Prep Max app. There you go. How do you study for the GRE? Got that one. What do you recommend? What do you recommend doing if professors only allow undergrads to be just an extra set of hands on their research project to get a good letter of recommendation? So you just do whatever needs to be done. Make their lives as easy as possible. So if it's an extra set of hands, be the best extra set of hands as possible. If they need you to clean up or take out the trash or hold something or type something while they talk or bring this over there or drop this or whatever that is, or gather data or go out in the streets and gather subjects for the research project, whatever that is, be the best set of hands. Make their lives as easy as possible. Go above and beyond, over deliver. Then you can get a great letter of recommendation. So don't downplay what you're doing. Don't say, oh, I only did this. I only did that. No, be the best at whatever they need done as possible, and you'll get the best letter of recommendation in return. A lot of programs offer work study. Good stuff. There you go. What to do if my overall... Oh, dang it. I missed it. What to do if my overall GPA is good, but science GPA is a bit lower? So you would retake... Well, this can depend on a lot of things in your situation, but you would retake whatever science GPA classes are low and apply preferably to a school that takes the highest retake. There you go. And that would be it. So that's the basis of the answer there. For the science GPA, you'd retake any classes that are bringing your science GPA down. So if you have a C in chemistry, retake that. And the best case scenario, you would apply to schools that take the highest retake and your prerequisite or science GPA. And in that, then your GPA would go to your science GPA would go to like a 3.3 to a 3.6 or 7 or something. Best case scenario. Would you prefer PTA over DPT? I'm not sure if you're asking this in context of money or the application or what I would do now, but I'm just going to pick one. So I would do, I'm a PT now, so I would do PT over. But that doesn't mean that anything's bad with a PTA. PTAs can basically do everything a PT can do, except like evaluations and a few other things depending on your state. So like manipulations, most states PTAs cannot do. Dry needling, most states PTAs cannot do. But other than that, other than the small stuff and evaluations, sometimes discharges and, the little minor stuff, PTAs can do everything else. PTAs can do everything else. The PTAs at my clinic, I joke with them all the time. I'm like, you guys want to take my eval? Like, it'll be super easy. It's basically the same thing as a progress note. There's no, I don't have any ego around it. So I might be the wrong person to ask, but I don't have any ego around it. So I think both are great. Just depends on what you want to do and how you view both of them. So they're both great in my opinion. Let's see. Let's see here. So if you wanted to apply, what if I want to apply for the 2023 cycle? I would need to start spring of 22. So if you want to start fall of 23, you would apply summer 22. So Kendall, if you're still on, if you want to start physical therapy school fall of 23 or summer 23, you would apply summer 22. Damage control is saying difference between PT and PTA is huge. Other things are not minor. Evaluation is most skillful part of what we do. There you go. That's fine. That's a great take. That's a great opinion. Like I said again, I have no ego over the PT versus PTA. So yeah. Evaluation is a big part of it, but PTA is not a bad career at all either. So depending on how you were framing the question, what the context was around your question, I love being a PT. It's great for me. But if I had to be a PTA, I would love that too. So if you're still on and you have any more inputs for how to answer the question or what the context is, ask again. Go for it. Let's see, where did I leave off? Is there a form to fill out observation hours? Yes. Go to the link in bio, go all the way to the bottom, and there's a form for observation hours. If you need observation hours, though, you can go to observationhours.com, and we give virtual observation hours, so you can go there as well, get some observation hours. But we do have a form. The link is in the bio. Scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll see a form for observation hours. Let's see. Best book for studying for the GRE. Everybody has their own opinion with this for best book. Some people swear by. Basically, what happens is whatever book people use and if they got a good score using that book, they would swear by it. So if people use Magoosh or Kaplan Prep or Prep Max or Greg Matz or whatever it is, they would say use that book. But in reality, all the books are great. It doesn't matter which one you use. Whichever one, I guess, speaks to you the most or vibes with you the best, or you learn the best from, use it. I'd go to your public library. A lot of the public libraries have the GRE prep books that you can take and either study there or rent and check out. And I would try those out. How often do you use ultrasound? I only used ultrasound once since I've been practicing, and that was for a hematoma. So to keep it simple, that's where there was to keep it simple, a blood clot or some bruising, some bleeding under the skin, and it turned into like this big old blob. So we used the ultrasound to kind of bring heat to the deeper layers of the surface and kind of break that up and get it moving. But that was the only time I really used ultrasound since I've been practicing autonomously. So I don't use it. I don't use it a lot at all. Did you have any doubts about being a PT? No, I didn't. I was a pre-pharmacy major first, then I switched over to being a PT. So I had doubts about being a pharmacist. Then I had some doubts about being a PT because of the pay. But I learned from some other business people while I was in school that there is really no cap on your salary unless you put a cap on it yourself. So you're in charge of your license. You can do basically whatever you want in your scope of practice to make as much money or as little money as you want. So once I learned that, I had no doubts about becoming a PT. I know some PTs who are millionaires and some PTs who are struggling. So, you know, you pick who you want to learn from. You can take both sides. You can take the red pill or the blue pill and go about your life and career however you want. But I have no doubts, especially after I learned that solidified my choice of what I chose. Okay, this is a multiple. Let's see. Any tips for nervousness? Upcoming internship. I'm going into the internship next semester. I'm kind of nervous. So, what do you mean by internship? Because sometimes when people say internship, they mean observation hours. So, if you mean internship, meaning observation hours, or you have a different kind of internship, let me know if you're still on for clarification. Let me know. But if you mean observation hours, the main thing I would do is go in there with an open mind. I kind of alluded to this before, but you want to go in there making their lives as easy as possible and going in there knowing that this experience is for you. You're not going into observation hours for them. They don't care if you're there or not. You know, if you want to sit there and be a wallflower, you know, they're going to be doing their job and they're going to get paid for it either way, whether you're there or not. So it's not for them, it's for you. So if you go in there with the mindset saying that I'm trying to get as much out of this as possible, boom, everything else changes from there. Because you're like, I can do something else with my time. I can be somewhere else. I want to know that this is the best career for me. Shoot, like, let me go in here and extract as much juice from this experience as possible. Then the questions become different. Your attentiveness becomes different. The way you help other people out becomes different, and you don't have to remember what I said on a live stream. So that's the mindset I would go in there for. Advantages and this is all getting jumbled up now. Let's go back to YouTube real quick. PTs make what they want. PTs make what they want to. Exactly. Yep. Yeah, there's no ceiling. There's no cap. There's no cap. And this goes for a lot of careers as well. I'm sure some careers there's like, oh, there's automatically a cap. I get it, but yeah, you're an autonomous professional. You have your license number. You're just, I guess you can say, renting out your license number to other corporations and jobs who employ you because they need your license number to bill. So you're an autonomous professional. So just remember that. If you get your license in one state, what's the procedure to work in another state? So the procedure to work in another state, you would go, unless you're in, so Dominic, what I would do is go to the PT Compact Act. Just Google that, PT Compact Act. And if you get your license in a state that is within the PT Compact Act, then you would be licensed in all those other states. If not, then you just go back to the FSBPT website. So that's the website that you register for your board exam. Then you just go there and transfer your license, and you pay the fee, and in a couple days that gets transferred. Some states need a jurisprudence exam, which is like a 50-question law exam, and you might have to do that for some states. I know Florida, California, some other states as well, and that's it. So you don't have to take the board exam again. You just have to transfer your license, take a law exam, and that's it, unless you're in a PT Compact Act state. If you choose to take a break and see a handful of patients a day, the worst I've done is about 60K. If I bust my 1 to 6 figures. Yeah. You can make a lot of money in PT. Don't let anybody say you can't. Because like I said, I know millionaires who are PTs. I know people who are struggling as PTs. So, yeah. Advantages and disadvantages of being a PTA that you know. Yeah, good question. I mean, I'm not a PTA, so I can't necessarily speak to all of the disadvantages, but I guess the biggest ones is, I don't even want to say salary cap, but there is an autonomy factor that PTAs do have a cap on, because like the physical therapist assistants are the PT's assistants, so they need like cosigns on their notes as well, and they cannot see a patient without a physical therapist doing the evaluation first. So if the PTA wants to have their own business or, do something on the side or whatever, or try to make as much money as possible, they still need a PT in their business if they want to run a physical therapy business, if that makes sense. Whereas if they were a physical therapist, they can just do it autonomously, then employ a PT or a tech or an aide. I guess the PTA can still employ a PT, but the biggest, I guess, drawbacks is just the autonomy factor with the with the PTA as well. But I'd have to ask some PTAs to give their perspective on what they feel the drawbacks are as well, because I can't really say from their perspective. So I'd much rather them talk about it. But that's what I would feel is the biggest ones. Ever experienced imposter syndrome? I have not. Good question. I have not. I know many people have, though. I don't know why I haven't. Maybe my time is still to come. Maybe it's because I don't have a big ego around what I know or what I don't know. If I feel I don't know something or I can't get the better, I have no attachment to like referring somebody out or making sure they get the best care from somebody else. So if I don't know and I don't know how to treat it or they're not getting better, I'm like, it's not about me, it's about you getting better. So let's refer you back to your surgeon or your physician, or let me send you to another PT who knows how to treat this better or something like that. So if I do feel like I'm not good enough, I'm okay with not being good enough right now. I can always get better. I'm only 2.5 years out of school. So I know I'm not Superman. I can't save everyone. So I have no attachment to it. So maybe that's why I don't have it or haven't experienced it yet, but yeah. Do PTs diagnose? There has been some, I guess, I don't want to say fights over this, but there's been, I guess, a little bit of controversy over is a PT diagnosis a real diagnosis, or is there a difference, or why can't PTs just say an ACL tear is an ACL tear instead of just saying a loose ligament of the blah blah blah. I'll let people argue about it. I don't I don't know, but there is a PT diagnosis that you will learn in school. Like, so when I write a note, there is a PT diagnosis on the note. But some people will argue about it, if there's a PT diagnosis or just medical diagnosis, or I'm not going to get into the legal stuff of that. I'll let the legal people fight it out. PTA license. I would follow the PT Hustle, Kyle Rice, if you're looking for license exam tips. Teach the people. What's going on, Jen? What's going on? Glad to see you in here. Internship. Oh, you're asking about internship. Yeah, same thing for internship. Go in there with confidence. Go in there thinking, what can I extract from this experience? Best piece of advice for students for the upcoming application process. I would say don't rush and don't look at what other people are doing. Focus on yourself, because what happens a lot of times, especially when the application first opens, is that a lot of people just, freak out because other people are telling them what to do indirectly. Like, you're driving your own car, trying to apply to PT school, and you're looking over at somebody else and saying, "Oh shoot, their tire pressure's low. Maybe I should get my tires checked." And your tires are fine. Or you're driving along and you see that they need their oil changed, and you're like, "Oh shoot, they need their oil changed. Maybe I need my oil changed." And your oil's fine. So I say focus on yourself. Don't let other people distract you. Don't let other people get you down, because it's kind of an individual race, even though other people can help you out and we're here to coach you. Your application is your application. So whatever other people need to work on, or whatever other people have done well in on their application, has no influence on you. It's like playing golf, or like I said, racing. When playing golf, you can't jump into somebody, or you can't scream, right? There's no defense in golf. You just have to get the best score possible, or the lowest score technically possible. And whoever has the lowest score, whoever has the best application, subjectively from the school's end, wins. So, yeah. Interested in doing any research as a PT, or do you prefer more clinical? Right now, I like the clinical setting. I'm only 2.5 years in. I like the clinical. I want to get better at my clinical skills. Clinical skills, getting better at them doesn't necessarily mean more money. It can, but getting better clinically doesn't automatically mean more money. But I like to get better just for my patients to get better. Research right now, I don't have any yearning desire to do any more research. Like, no topics necessarily inspire me right now. But if something comes along and I'm like, shoot, I'm really interested in that, yeah, I go for it. Thoughts about taking a gap year? Take one if you need it. Yeah, I have no problems with the gap year. No problems at all. If you need it, take it. Many people have done it before and gotten in using a gap year or gap years. Nobody's going to look at your application and say, "Oh my gosh, ew, they took a gap year. Oh my gosh, I don't want them." If they'd much rather you take a gap year and come back with a great application than not taking one and having crap given. So, yeah. Good questions tonight, guys.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
Oh, my bad, Siri. All right. I think we're good. I'll wait a few seconds for any more. But this has been good. I went over an hour and almost 15 minutes. But I think we're good. I might hop back on here Wednesday night. So look out for a bat signal on Instagram. I'll say, "Hey, I'm going live." So look out for that. But in the meantime, have a good start to your week. And I'll see y'all Wednesday.